Welcome back to Fantasy Fortune YouTube channel. And today we are going through my 5 favorite bounce back candidates for the 2025 fantasy football season. And I guess before I get into that, I'll just shout out my draft guide that is completely free, is always linked down below in my descriptions. This is what it includes. I put a ton of points per game, efficiency, red zone targets, just advanced stats, my targets and avoids from last year, how that went, and who my targets and avoid for this season are. And I will be throwing my own bounce back category in there at some point. But these are my top 5 favorite guys that are going to have a bounce back season, whether that means they destroy their ADP or they just simply finish above their ADP and bounce back from a subpar season last year. And the first guy is Isaiah Pacheco. I have not seen much hype on Isaiah Pacheco whatsoever, and while I kind of understand why, I definitely disagree with it. And I'll jump into his 2023 stats. He was the RB14, averaging 17 carries and 4 targets per game over the first 2 weeks of last year, that was. And his stats during that, he was 9th in carries, 8th in targets for the running back position, and averaged 16 fantasy points per game. And this is just a first half. I was going through I bookmarked tweets that I think are good for videos, and I'll use the stats. And this is just a first half of week 1, but we don't have that much to go off of. So I did want to mention it. He took 77% of the snaps, 100% of running back rush attempts, 75% route participation, and a 14% target share. That is elite RB1 roles. Now, I don't think he'll have a completely elite RB1 role, but when you're going at RB29, and let me just say, he was a top 15 running back in ADP last year, and he was a top 15 running back before breaking his frickin' fibula. And then obviously he tries to come back probably too early. He definitely wasn't the same. He was incredibly inefficient. His yards were his yard line would be at 23.5 higher or lower than for the game. That's Kareem Hunt kind of there taking the job while he's just not healthy. Kareem Hunt was incredibly inefficient. He's not a factor. Isaiah Pacheco now gets a chance to come back actually fully healthy, a full offseason. And I think had he not come back last season and been inefficient, he would probably be going inside at least the top 20, top 18 running backs, I think. And another chart from Hayden Winks on Twitter posted the team points per game projections and their RB1 and RB2 ADPs. He says at least one running back on the Chiefs is going way too late, and that's because the Chiefs are projected to be the 4th highest scoring offense. And this is why I really like this range of running backs, as in Tony Pollard, Isaiah Pacheco, Brian Robinson, or not Tony Pollard, I meant to say Aaron Jones. Because those 3 guys are going to be on good offenses. I guess Minnesota is not that highly projected on here. I think they're going to be a good offense. But Brian Robinson and Isaiah Pacheco are 2 guys in top 5 projected offenses, and they're both the clear RB1. I mean, RB2 here is Brashard Smith, a 7th-round rookie, who may damn well take some passing down work. That's okay. This is Isaiah Pacheco's role. I think he's going to bounce back, be healthier, be more efficient, and he's going to be in a top 5 scoring offense, guys. So RB29, I think he should be at least inside the top 24. And some of the draft strategy I enjoy is taking a running back in the first round or 2, loading up on receivers, and then by the time we get to the back end 20s, I'm totally okay with Isaiah Pacheco as my RB2. An RB1 in a top 5 offense that's going to get the majority of the work, and I think bounce back. I think he's going to be a value, and I'm totally okay being the only guy hyping up Isaiah Pacheco. Of course we are freezing. Oh my God. Oh, I need to move out and get new freaking Wi-Fi. We'll get into my number 2 guy, and it's Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman, I'm a Colts fan, you can see. But that has nothing to do with this. Last season, Michael Pittman was my biggest fade at wide receiver. He was going inside the top 15. I know he had a wide receiver 11 ADP at some point. I'm digging into it, being like, I'm a huge Anthony Richardson guy, but looking at, do I have that up here? I do. There was this stat that I saw last season. It was target share with Gardner Minshew. Pittman nearly had 30% target share. But with Richardson in his first 4 games in his rookie season, it was a 24% target share. But over that season, with Minshew, he finished as a top 12 wide receiver. Went absolutely nuts with catches. His target share was crazy. What did he have? 1,100 yards, 4 touchdowns, and over 100 catches. And he's kind of going around that similar ADP last year. And I'm sitting there like, the passing volume won't be there with Richardson, whether he's good or not. The passing volume isn't there. His target share is not going to match what it was last season. So he was a fade, and I did not expect him to be actually as bad as he was. But there are reasons for that. But like, let's look at his game log. Wide receiver 75 in his rookie season was a very limited role. But 2021, 22, and 23, he was top 24 in points per game as the clear wide receiver 1 for the Indianapolis Colts. I think that when you're looking at stuff like this, you can discount the rookie season. So you're talking about the past 4 years. He's been top 24 in 3 out of the 4 seasons. And the funny part is, like, last season, the Colts offense was among the bottom half of the league. Anthony Richardson was, the worst completion percentage in the NFL, one of the least accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. Even when Joe Flacco came in, it wasn't good for anyone besides Josh Downs. It was better than Richardson, though. Could not have had a worse situation. And I think a lot of the thing that a lot of people are forgetting, though, he played through a damn back fracture last year. Like, this dude should have been, like, there was a rumor, like, Michael Pittman's going to get put on IR. He has a back fracture, and he ends up missing only 1 game, and he's playing through a broken back. And if you watched him last year, at least as a Colts fan, it was very, 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 very easy to notice that he was not the same. His catch percentage went down from 69% to 62%. He just wasn't making the catches that he normally makes. It was clear that he wasn't healthy. But despite all that, he finished as wide receiver 44 in points per game, so obviously not good. But where is he being drafted right now? Wide receiver 50? What are we doing? He's been top 24 in 3 out of his 4 seasons. Now, I don't think he's going to be top 24 again. I think he's going to be at least a wide receiver 3. I don't think he's going to murder a wide receiver 50 ADP and finish as the wide receiver 14 again. But I think he's certainly going to be in the top 36 at worst. And again, literally, even if he's as bad, even if the quarterback play is just as bad, he plays injured again, the targets are all over the place, whatever it may be, if it's as bad as last season, he still finished higher than where he's currently going. That doesn't make an ounce of sense to me. He's literally outscored Jaylen Waddle in points per game each of the past 2 seasons, and he's going 4 picks later. So I'm not saying Michael Pittman has the highest ceiling in the entire world. I don't think he has that top 12 ceiling that he's had before, but I just think it is incredibly disrespectful to be wide receiver 50 this year. My third guy is going to be Dak Prescott, one of my guys at the QB position. I'm higher on him than consensus on every platform. You can see in my draft guide again where I have him ranked, and then where he's ranked on Fantasy Pros, Sleeper, ESPN, and Yahoo. I'm higher. He's about QB 14. I have him inside my top 10. Number 1, in 8 games with Dak last year, the Cowboys were first in pass rate and third in neutral pass rate. Now they add George Pickens, and they still have the same, debatably worst, shitty running back room. Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, both pretty washed. Jaden Blue, a day 3 rookie. I don't think any running back is really going to come out and destroy expectations here. They're going to be very pass heavy like usual. Lowest percentage of throws targeting an open pass catcher in 2024. Dak Prescott was among the top 6. Just meaning that probably outside of CeeDee Lamb, his receivers were not getting open. Now, Pickens, I can't say has the best separation score, but he will catch these balls. He is a contested catcher. This is a very significant wide receiver 2 upgrade. And the last thing I want to look at is Dak Prescott's entire game log by season. 16 games in his first 4 seasons straight. He was a top 12 quarterback in 3 of those 4 seasons. Top 3 in 1 of them. 2020, the dude was QB1 in points per game through 5 games, averaging about 28 points per game, got injured. 2021 and 2023, again, playing a full season, was top 10. 2022, missed 5 games, was QB 13. And last season, missed half the season. Pretty much every year the dude plays a full season, he's finishing as a top 10 quarterback. And I always like to mention, in 2023, the Cowboys were number 1 in points per game, averaging 30 points per game, scoring. Dak Prescott, career year with 4,500 yards and 36 passing touchdowns, was literally debatably the MVP. Lamar won it. I know that some people think Dak should have won it, but either way, he was top 2 in MVP scoring. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility, but he doesn't need to be an MVP candidate. I think the QB 14 ADP, he's going to kill it. He's going to be at least top 10. But we've seen a QB4 season, a QB3 season, a QB1 season on a 5-game sample size. We have seen this from Dak before. So I am completely in on Dak this year. Before we get to the last 2, would like to shout out Underdog, because you can draft in best ball, enter $3 or $4 or $5 pools, win a bunch of money, pick higher or lower than on season-long projections, and they will give you $100 free just by joining with the code Fortune. You put $100 in, they'll give you another 100. You can make your money back pretty quick. Take out your 100 you put in, and you'll just be playing with free money, but only when you join with the code Fortune. Okay, so my 4th guy is going to be Travis Etienne. And I would say out of the 5 on this list, I'm probably the least confident in that one, but I still think it is absolutely worth a stab. Last season, before his week 6 hamstring injury, he went from 14% to 10% in explosive run and 17% down to 9% in forced missed tackles. He's pretty bad after this hamstring injury. But hopefully, we don't really know for sure whether it's going to be Bashal Tutin, Tank Bigsby, Travis Etienne, but there is going to be a Bucky Irving. Maybe not a top 10 running back, but there is going to be somebody taking this elite role like Bucky Irving had with offensive coordinator Liam Cohen, who is now the Jaguars head coach. And Bucky Irving, the second half of the season last year, was RB6 with 18 points per game, 19-plus opportunities, and only had 50% of the snaps. The reason that I think this is worth it is because he's done this before. He literally was the RB2 in 2023 and then had a terrible year last year. But we know that he's proven he can do it. So he had 16.8 points per game that season. He's in the prime running back age window of 24 years old to 27 years old. And the reason that he was so bad last year, outside of being injured himself, was Trevor Lawrence was injured. They're playing with Mac Jones. The offensive line was absolutely terrible. They're playing with an offensive coordinator and head coach, basically in an offensive scheme that got fired. They cleaned house. They were bad. So I think everything kind of points in the right direction for an Etienne bounce back season. He's going as RB33, finished outside of that last season. And the reason I say I'm the least confident in this one is just because it really could be any of these guys. Maybe it's Bashal Tutin, maybe it's Tank Bigsby, who kind of took his job at the end of last season. But I think with him being healthy, this offense getting better kind of all around, and the offensive mastermind in Liam Cohen, if I were to put my money on one of these guys, it's going to be the guy that's done it before. And I do think one of these running backs is going to destroy their ADP. So I'll put my money on him. And Liam Cohen's been raving about him. He said he's done everything we've asked asked him to do and more. There's been a consistency. He can shine in ways in space. He's done a great job. I don't really understand these trade rumors I've seen out there. That's inaccurate. I think it's an Etienne top 24 running back season. Drinking my pre-workout before I go to the gym in about 10 minutes. My last guy is going to be Jaylen Waddle. And I was kind of in on this, and then Johnny Smith got traded, and I became very, very much in on this, but I'll first start out with his career stats. Dude's rookie season with no Tyreek Hill. He puts up 100-plus catches, 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, finishing as the wide receiver, 15 points per game. And then the second season with Tyreek Hill on the team, proving that he can be elite with Tyreek Hill on the team, nearly 1,400 yards and 8 touchdowns and absolutely ridiculous yards per reception, which obviously was kind of an outlier, but top 12 wide receiver and points per game. And then even 2023, he wasn't quite the same as he was the first 2 seasons, but he was still wide receiver 21 in points per game, only scoring 4 touchdowns, but still having that 70 catches for 1,000 yards. And again, I said this with Pittman, I said this with Dak Prescott. When you look at these guys year by year, and you can say 3 out of 4 seasons he's been top 24, and then he's got a down season with pretty much everything that you could possibly hope that goes right went the absolute opposite direction. He's playing injured. Tyreek Hill's not the same. The O-line is terrible. Tua gets injured. Everything went terrible for Jaylen Waddle last year. So career lows all across the board. Wide receiver 50, and now he goes as like wide receiver 30 to 33. I think wide receiver 29 actually, but he kind of hovers around that range. And the reason that I'm so in on him now that Johnny Smith is gone is because Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle were on the field for 111 plays without Jonnu last year. Waddle had a 25% target share in that time. His target share, Jonnu Smith had over 100 targets last year. Now they're free up for grabs. That's going to be pretty much spread across Etienne, Tyreek, and Waddle. And I will go through the freaking crazy injury history of this dude, man. Weeks, this is from 2023. Concussion in week 2, back soreness in week 8, knee soreness in week 11, bruised chest in week 13, high ankle sprain in week 16. He only missed 3 games, and that was 2023. Last season, quad injury in week 7, hamstring in week 14, knee in week 15. The dude has not been healthy in 2 seasons, and we saw what he did in his first 2 seasons when he was healthy. And I know, here we go with the freezing. Okay. I know that, you can pretty much put that as a negative. Well, if he can't stay healthy, like he's not going to be the same. Just saying, we've seen what he's done when he is fully healthy. I think this offense, it might be a hot take, but this is probably going to be like the last chance for this offense with Tua, Mike McDaniel, Jaylen Waddle, and Tyreek Hill all together. This is the range that he goes in, right? J-Mo, Devontae Smith, Sutton, Pickens, Flowers, Waddle, Hunter, Ridley, Jennings. I think there's a few guys I like in this range. I kind of like Pickens. I really like Sutton. But I really like Waddle to have a bounce back. And, 3 out of 4 years he's been top 24. I don't think that's a crazy thing to happen this season, in which case he'd be a damn good value in the draft. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up. Please like, subscribe, comment what topics you want to see next. Appreciate you listening, and we'll see you on the next one.